So in the last class, I said you about str method. Okay. I said about str method, str magic method. And always the str magic method must return which object? String object. And str method is belongs to object class. And this method returns string representation of object or returns human readable information of information of string or state of the object. And this method is called whenever you call the functions like str and print and format functions. Okay, now we have seen. Okay, then after this, let me tell you about one more method is there. And what is it? Another method is REPR method. So REPR method also return string representation of what object. Then what is the difference between str method and REPR method? Okay. So what is the difference between str method and REPR method? So both are used for representing object as a string. Both are used for representing object as a string. But this REPR method is called whenever you whenever you call REPR method that returns a string representation of object. Okay. Yeah, please just try to understand. So there is a method called REPR. So what is REPR method will do is, so what this REPR method will do is, so what is the name of the method is REPR. Okay, magic method, REPR magic method. Okay, so the REPR magic method. So this method returns a string. This method returns string. What this method returns is again string. And this method returns a more information or sometimes you call it as official information. Okay, more information or official information or string representation of object. Okay, string representation of object. And this method is this method is called whenever we call this method is called whenever we called whenever when, whenever we called whenever we called R, REPR function, whenever we call REPR function on the object, whenever we call REPR function on the object, whenever we call REPR function on the object, whenever we call REPR function of the object. So both will do the same thing. Both will do the same thing. Then what is the difference here is the question is asked what is the difference between str and REPR methods. What is the difference between STR and REPR methods? Okay. What is the difference between STR and REPR methods? Okay, where you can say, now these are some of the differences between the STR method, and one more is REPR method. This is where you find difference between STR method and REPR method. So STR method is defined to return. Okay, generally you'll say human readable string representation. Okay, human readable string representation of a object. Human readable string representation of object. But whereas REPR method, REPR method, okay, is defined is defined to return a string representation of object, string representation object of the string representation of you can say string representation of object, or you can say string representation of instance, string representation of you can say string representation of instance that can be, okay, that can be used to recreate, okay, that can be used to recreate what here object. So formal and informal. So that is helpful in recreation of what object. So let me tell you example here. Let me tell you example here. For example, there is a class. For example, sorry. For example, there is a class. Okay, assume that there is a class. What is the name of the class is some person is a class. For example, there is a class called person. And what person is having is, whenever I create a person, I create a person with first name as well as what last name. So person is having two attributes. One is a first name and one more is what last name. One is a first name and one more is a last name. Now this is how I'm creating the object person by sending the first name as well as what last name. Suppose I send here some Abhishek Sharma, okay, which is called as a first name and one more is what last name. Okay, now I try to override which method REPR method, which return string representation of object creation. String representation of what object creation. That is indirectly what this written is string representation of instance. Instance is nothing but object. String representation of instance, that is nothing but object. How it is created? What is the syntax of creating that? Information is written by that information is written by. So I'm returning like this person. Okay, person. What I'm writing here, person. So you are trying to create a person object, but how you are creating a person object? Sorry, how the person object is created by using a person, by using a person. Okay, what is the type of this object? Person. What is the type of the object? Person. You created object by giving how many inputs? Two inputs. One is self dot name, first name, and second one is self dot last name. Now this is now instance. Now this is a representation of what? Instance. Now when I say print, okay, REPR of a P1, once I run this, when I say REPR of P1, and once I run this, okay, now what is the value? So self dot L name, self dot F name, sorry. Okay, self dot L name, no attribute called F name. Oh, is is a private, right? So first one is L name, and second one is what? F name. What happened here? Mm. So written format. Oh, okay, right. Once you run this, now, now you can see the person object is created by sending how many inputs here? Two inputs. Okay, now this is a string representation of what? Object. It means this is helpful. REPR is helpful in recreation of what? Object. It return the representation of instance creation. REPR returns what? Representation representation of instance creation. REPR returns what? Representation of what? Instance creation. That is done by which method? REPR method. Representation of instance creation written by REPR method. Suppose if it is a STR method, if it is STR method, it return human readable information about where I'm saying format. Okay, person first name is person first name is person first name is I read self dot F name, and the last name is okay, last name is what I what I write here, L name. Now this is written by which one? STR. When I write print REPR of a P1, so what is the information it will display? Okay, sorry, STR of P1. What is the okay last name? Self dot okay, self dot what is it? Last name. So what is the information? Now first person first name is Abhishek and last name is what here? Sharma. So this is how you override two methods. One is STR method, and one more is which method? REPR method. So when STR method is called, whenever whenever you call STR function, and when REPR method is called, whenever you call which method? REPR method. Whenever you call REPR method. Okay. So that is done by that is done that is done by these two methods. One is STR and one more is what here? REPR. Okay, I think you understood this. This is informal information and this is formal information. REPR always return string representation of sorry. REPR method always return string representation of instance. REPR always return string representation of instance. This is helpful in recreation of what? Object. This is helpful in recreation of what? Object. This is helpful in recreation of object. When you want to create another object, you create the object like this. Person by giving first value as well as what? Second value. You create it by using first value as well as what? Second value. Okay. I think you understood this one. All of you. Yeah, you understood or not? What is it here? Yes or no? All of you. You understood REPR method? REPR method, you are understood or not? REPR method, you understood or not? Yes or no? What is the difference between what is the difference between what is the difference between which methods? STR method as well as REPR method. STR method is defined to return human readable string representation of object. But REPR method is REPR method is defined to return string representation of what? Instance that can be used to recreate what? Object. You want to know how this object is recreated or how this object is created. Then you call which method? REPR. Then it returns how this object is created. This, this object is created by using which class? Person class. And having how many constructor with how many parameters? Two parameters. So this syntax is used in recreation of what? Object. In that case, you override which method? REPR method. So that is formal representation and this is informal representation. So whenever you are calling a print, it will call which method first? Whenever you call a print, for example, there is a class E. Inside the class E, I write which method? REPR method. So where I'm saying return inside which method? REPR method. Okay, are you override object A equal to A. I write print obj A. Print obj A. And when you print this, so when you print this, what is the thing it is written? So class main dot which one? A. Class main dot A. It means which one is written this class main dot A? Which which one is written this class main dot A? Is it str method is there or not there? Is it str method is there or not there? Not there. Then it call the str method of which class? Object. It call the str method of which class? Object class. It calls the str method of which class? Ob object class. Sorry. You are creating object of a class. Sorry. You are creating object of a class. What is written here inside is inside which method? REPR method. I created object of which class? A class. But whenever you print, actually print. So to this print function, you are sending which object? Object A. But always a print the object by always a print. Print the object by calling which method? str method. Print always it will print the object using which method? str method. Print always it will print the object using which method? str method. Okay, but first it look for str method in which class? A class. Is it str method is available or not available? Not available. Then it calls which method? REPR method. In the hierarchy of execution of this, in the hierarchy of execution of this REPR and STR methods, which method get executed first? R which method is get executed first? REPR method, and then which method is executed next? STR. But is it STR is available? No. So it calls REPR method. If it is available, it calls the REPR method. If it is not available, then it calls which method? STR method. Okay. Suppose there is a class B. There is a class B. In, in class B, I call I written which method? str method. So inside, sorry, return. Okay, return. Okay, return inside which method? str method. So I create object of which class? B class. When I say print obj B, so it call which method? String method. But in this string method is there or not there? See, when I print a object, is a string method is there or not there? Not there. Which method is there? REPR. So first priority is always given to which one? STR. If STR is not there, then it look for which method? REPR method. If STR is not there, then it look for which method? R REPR method. There's a class C. Inside the class C, I write REPR method. Inside the class C, I write REPR method. So return. Inside the class C, I write REPR method. Return. So what I'm returning inside? REPR method. Array. So inside this, I write one more method called which one? str method return. Inside which method? str method. Okay. So for example, if I create object of which class? C class. And when I print object C, when I print object C, so what will happen? Always your object get printed by calling which method? str method. First it look for which method? str method. Is it str method is available or not? Yes. It will print or it will return inside which method? str method. So first, whenever you print or whenever you print, whenever you convert, see, whenever you print and whenever you convert str of obj a, you are converting object, you are converting object to what? String. Always the object is converted to a string by calling which method? str method. But is str method is there in A class? No. Then it calls which method? REPR method. Then it calls which method? REPR method. So first preference always given to which method? str method. If str method is not available, then it return string representation of object by calling which method? REPR method. Okay. Then it calls string representation of object. It calls the string representation of object by calling which method? REPR method. Okay. So only the thing is a representation of object. REPR means representation of object. How your object is represented. How your object is represented or how your instance is represented. So that is a syntax which is used in recreating of what? Object. So PVM always PVM always search for which method? STR method. STR method while printing while printing object or while converting while converting object while converting object using which function? STR function. Using which function? STR function. Okay. If STR method, if if STR method, if STR method is not override inside the class, inside the class, it search for it's it search for it search for which method? REPR method. It search for which method? REPR method. Okay. If R- if REPR method If REPR method exists, okay, it returns or it invoke, it invoke and return, okay, return what? String representation of, string representation of what? Instance. Okay, now, okay, this is the order of, okay, this is the order of what? Execution. This is the order of which one? Execution. Okay, just try to understand. This is the order of execution. Okay. And this is where you find difference between STR method and one more is what? REPR method. You understood difference? You understood difference? All of you, yes or no? Tell me here, yes or no? STR method and REPR method. STR method return the string representation of object. Okay, readable information about the object and is okay. For example, if you see the predefined objects, for example, I write list equal to list of, I send a iterable 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I create a list one by using list of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I created list object. I'm saying list one, str of list one, str of list one. This is string representation of list one. I'm saying REPR of list one. Now this is also returning same or different? Same. For example, I'm creating a list. I'm creating a list. For example, I'm creating a list two, but I'm creating a list two by using a tuple. I'm creating a list two by using what here? Tuple. Okay, then I said str of list one. This is str of list one. Okay, if I'm using str of REPR of, okay, REPR of, sorry, list two, and this is a string representation of what? Yes, but what it is written here? Tell me here. What it is written here? Actually, we send input as what? Tuple. Okay, we send input as what here? Tuple. But it is written which type? Okay, it is written which type? It is sorry. It is written which type? List type. Now this is how the list is created, right? This is how the list is. Function 1 minute. List two. Okay, list two. Yeah, remember list two equal to list of. I'm just writing a tuple 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Then I'm saying print. So I'm just writing a representation of which one? List two. So this is a list two represented as what? String. In this case, str and REPR both are returning the same thing or different thing? Same thing. Both are returning the same thing or different thing? Same thing. Suppose I create a complex number by giving real and what? Imaginary. Okay, I said complex number str of complex number one. Sorry, str of str of complex number one. This is a string representation of complex number one. If I'm saying REPR of complex number one, it is also returning same or not? Yes. It means you can able to create the object by giving one plus reject. But this is about predefined. This is about predefined. But whenever you are creating a user defined, it is always required. It is it is always required. It is always required to represent the syntax of creating what or it is always represented the syntax of creating what object. The syntax of creating what object. You have to always give the syntax of creating what object. That is nothing but string representation of what instance. That that is called as a string representation of instance. Or it just written passed object values. You can say it is just written what passed object values. That is the difference. Let me tell you one more magic method. And what is that another magic method is dir. dir magic method. Sorry, dir magic method. So what this dir? Okay, so if you want to find suppose if you want to find okay, sorry, you want to find information about any object, if you want to find any information about any type, you can find out that by using what here? dir. If I'm saying dir integer, it shows methods and attributes are what? Integer class. Okay, all these are methods and attributes of which class? Integer class. If I'm writing dir, if I'm writing dir list, it is displayed the attributes and methods of which class here? List class. In the same way, if I'm writing dir str, it write all the methods here. All these attributes and methods of which class? Which class? String class. Okay. So dir. Whenever you are calling the function, whenever you are calling the function dir, internal it calls which magic method? dir magic method. It calls which magic method? dir magic methods. Whenever you'll say dir, internal it calls which magic method? dir magic method. And that returns important attributes and methods of your class. That returns important attributes and methods of your class. Okay. Important attributes and methods of your class. Okay. So whenever you want to display information about, whenever you want to display information about which one? Your class or object. Okay. Then you can do that by using or by overriding which method? dir magic method. dir magic method. Okay. But let me first tell me about dir. So in Python, okay, in Python, dir function returns, okay, returns, okay, the attributes, return the attributes. These attributes can be what here? Methods and properties, okay, and other members, other members of which one? An object or what is it? Class. That is done by dir. But when dir function is in when dir function is invoked, When dir function is invoked, invoked internally pv, sorry, invoked internally pvm. So pvm invokes, okay, internally pvm invokes a magic method called dir. It invokes a magic method called what? Dir. And this method written what? List. And this list contain all the attributes, important attributes of your object. So if you want to display information about this, then you definitely override which method? dir method. dir method. You have to override which method? dir method. Okay, what will I do? Suppose there is a class. There is a class. What is the name of the class? Student is a class. So whenever I create a student, okay, I create a student with some attributes. Like what is that? Roll number. There's an attribute called roll number. Okay, there is an attribute called which one? Name. Okay, there is an attribute called course. There's an attribute called course. Okay, there's an attribute called course. And there is a method called what? Some set name. Oh, sorry, set roll number. Set roll number is a method. This receive the roll number and assign it self dot roll number. This receive the roll number and what? Assign it self dot roll number equal roll number. There is a set name. Okay, this receive the name and assign it to what? Name. And there is a method called set. Course is a method. This will assign the value to what? Course. By saying self dot course equal to course. There is a method called get roll number and this returns, okay, self dot roll number. So there is one more method. So get name and this method returns, okay, self dot name. And there is a method called get course and this method returns self dot what is that name? Course. Now there is a getters and there is what here? Setters. Okay. Now what will I do? I'll say print. I'll say print. Okay, print dir. What I'm saying, student. Whenever I say print dir student, it should list all the attributes of student. But is it list all the attributes of student? See here. Is it list all the attributes of student? See here. Is it these are there or not there? So the class is student and the class is student is having, you can see the attributes. What is it attribute? Get course, get name, get roll number, set course, set name, and what is that? Set roll number. But are you override are you override dir method? Are you override dir method? No. You have not override dir method. If you don't override dir method, then it calls a dir method of which class? If if you don't override dir method, then it calls a dir method of which class? Object class. If you don't override dir method, then it calls a dir method of which class? Object class. dir method of which class? Object class. Okay, dir. Okay, student dot dir. You are sending what here? Student. So it written. Is it written? Is it written? All the things here. See here. Address class, get class item. So all these are there. But is it having any methods? So clear, copy, count, extend. Oh, list. But whenever you say dir, okay, anyway, whenever you say dir, what it written the list, what this list contain all the attributes. See, get course is there, get name is there, get roll number is set course is there, set name is and set roll number. All these are written by which function here? Dir function. But I don't want, but I don't want to display all the attributes. I don't want to display what all the attributes. I want to display only which attributes, important attributes. But is it displayed the public? Is it displayed only the public? Is it displayed the private also? See, see here, is it displayed only the methods? See, there is a get course, get name, and get roll number, set course, set name, and what? Set set roll number. But is it written any attributes called? Is it written any attributes called roll number, name, and course? No, it is written only what? Methods. Which methods? Public methods. Public methods. Get course, get name, get roll number, set course, set name, and set roll number. But I want to return some more information. Then I override. Which method here? I override which method here? I override which method here? dir method. I override which method here? dir method. And this dir method is written which list? Empty list. You have to create instance method, right? So dir. So print. So print dir. Which object? Student object. What it is written here? Empty list. Because whenever you call dir, the dir calls which method? Dir method. This dir call which method? Dir method of your object. Generally, if I don't write this, it calls the dir method of which class? It will call the dir method of which class? Object class. And that is written only the methods. But I don't want this to be written. That then what will I do? I'll hide it. I'll hide some of the I hide some of the methods are what? Attributes by returning. What I am returning? Only set. So public methods set roll number. Second one is, so this has to be written as a strings. Okay, that is a set roll number. Second one is a set a name. Okay, set roll number, set a name. Okay, there is a set name, and there is a set course. Okay, now these are the setter methods written by which one? List. So it is written how many methods? Four methods. You can give some important methods. So where I'm writing within single quotes, what is the name of this method? Get name. What is the name of the method? Get course. What is the name of the method? Get roll number. But is it written remaining methods or attributes? No. So that can be done by overriding which method? By overriding which method? dir method. So whenever you call dir function, that will return the attributes of what? Object. But how it returns the attributes of the object? By calling which method? dir method. Okay, if I'm saying print, I create object of list 1. Okay, I create object of list 1. If I'm saying print dir list 1, it return the attributes of what? List 1. So is it written all the attributes of list 1 or not? Yes. But I don't want all the attributes to be visible. Then what do you do it? You hide some attributes by overriding which method? By overriding which method? dir method. dir method. So if you want to return for a custom object, if you want to return for custom object, then override. Then override which method? dir method. Override which method? dir method. Okay. Yes. You understand? You understood or not? All of you? You understood or not, dear students? You you understood dir magic method? You understood dir magic method, online students? dir magic method, it is helpful in debugging. As a programmer, you want to know how many attributes are there in the object. That you can find out by using what? Dir. Okay, that you can find out by using which method? dir method. That you, that you can find out by using which method? dir method. So dir followed by what name? Object name. dir followed by what name? Object name. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, right. Sound is not coming. When I ask the yes or no, even you people also not replying, right? Manisha, you replied. Okay. Yes. You have to reply here. When I ask you, you have to reply. You people are not replying it by just typing yes or no. If you say yes, then I'll go for next one. Next magic method. If you say yes, I'll go for next magic method. Okay. So next magic methods are two here. One is ITER. One is ITER. One more is next ITER. And one more is next methods. One is ITER method. One more is which method? Next methods. Okay. These are two methods are there here. Okay. One is ITR method. Next method is what? Next method. Okay. For example, you want to make your object as iterable. Yeah, tell me here. Ashish, tell me. Tell me, Ashish. So that is what I said. If you are writing a class, it will show you all. Okay, if you are writing on a class, If you are sending a class, right? If you are sending a class, it shows all. If you are sending object, so generally dir will display the attributes of the object. Actually, dir display the attributes of the object. Okay. For example, see here, I say dir list. What I send here list. Okay, if we say list, is it showing the same thing or different? Just here. Dir list and list one equal to list. I said dir list one. Sorry. Dir what list one. Dir list one. Is it information is the same or different? See, is it information is same or different? So when you're talking about a class, so class means it shows all class level as well as object level. Class level as yes. So if you print length of, assume that we'll put result in one list dir. Suppose dir list b equal to dir list 1. So length of a and length of what here b. Same or different? Same. Yes or no? Length is the same or different? Same. Length is the same. But when you find the difference, when you find the difference is, suppose when you write dir, when you're saying dir, suppose dir, in the previous example here, if I'm writing print dir, what I send here student class, what I send here student class, dir student class I send. When I send a student class, this is a class, right? Okay, this is a class, and this class is inherited from, yeah, Ashish. This class is inherited from object. So it shows what? It shows what? It shows what? Attributes of a class. Which class? Object class and your class. Object class as well as your class. But if you are sending, what you are sending in this case? Student 1. What is student 1 here? Class or object? As a student 1 is a class or object? Object. Okay. And when I say dir student 1, it calls which method? It looking for dir method in which class, which object, which class, which class? Student class. Is it dir is there or not? See, this is instance method. This is which method? Instance method. Instance method is bind with, or instance method is bind with what? Object. Instance method is bind with what here? Object. Because of that, it is displayed only roll number, name, and this is belongs to which one? Object. Okay, this is belongs to which one? Object. So what it is written? Get course, get name, get roll number, set course, set name, and set roll number. So that is where you find the difference when you're sending the class and when you're sending the, yes, when you're sending the class and when you're sending the object. But if you don't override this method, in that case, both are what? If you don't override this method, in that case, both are what? Same. If you don't override this method, in that case, both are what? Same. Okay. Right. Then next one is ITR method and next method. So you override ITR method. If you want to make your object as an iterable, you want to make your object as what? Iterable. I create a list. Suppose I create a list with how many values? 5 values. I create a list with how many values here? 5 values. I can give this. I can give this list one to which one? For loop. So list one to the for loop. Okay. So this for loop, is it this for loop read all the values or not? Yes. That is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay. Suppose I create a class. I create a class called student and I create a student object. I create a student object or student class where, okay, roll number, name, and one more is a course. Then what will I do is I'll say self dot roll number equal to roll number and self dot name equal to name and self dot course equal to what? Course. So I create a student object. I create a student object by saying S1 equal to what? Student with a roll number name, with a roll number name and what? Course. Can I say for value in or for B in which object? Student object and print B. Can I write like this? If I run this, immediately it is given which error? Type error. Given which error? Type error saying that student object is what? Not iterable. Student object is not iterable. If you want to make your object as what? Iterable, then you should implement which protocol? Iteration protocol. You have to implement which protocol? Iteration protocol. I created a student object or I created list object. How can I create iterator? ITER of A. So this will return which object? Iterator object. ITER of which one? List one. So this will return which object? Iterator object. Can I create? Can I create an iterator object? Can I create an iterator object on S1? No. I cannot create iterator object on what? S1 because student object is not iterable. So how can you make your object as an iterable? You can make an object as an iterable. You can make your object as an iterable by overriding which method? ITER method. Okay. How can you make your object as an iterable? By overriding which method? ITER method. And always the iterator object returns reference of which object? Current object. Always iterator method returns reference of which object? Current object. What is the reference of the current object? Self. What is the reference of the current object? Self. I'm just writing here S1 dot ITER of which one? S1. Okay, this returns which object? It is written which object? Current object. But see here, type ITER written non-iterator of type which one? Student. Okay, whenever you want to implement iteration, you should also override one more method. And what was one more method here? Next method. So that next method returns the next element. The next method returns what? Next element. So where I'm saying return self dot roll number. So how many methods has to be override? Two methods. How many methods has to be override? Two methods. One is iterator and one more is what? Next. So can I read the next value? Yes. I can say roll number equal to next of C. So this will return which value? Roll number. Okay, what is the roll number? 101. So if you want to make your object, so yes, by default, your object is not iterable. By default, your object is not, are you getting or not? All of you? Why we are overriding iterator and next, by for making your object as what? Iterator. Your object, I want to make my object as what? Iterator. so that I can give my object to which loop? For loop. I can give my object to what? Next function, so that that will read next each time one value. Each time one value. For that, you are using which one? Iterator. Okay, iterator magic method. So that is for implementing, converting your object or implementing iteration protocol is nothing but implementing which protocol? Iteration protocol. Implementing iteration protocol. Okay, so let me tell you first which method here? ITER magic method. Okay, the iterator magic method. Okay, all these are magics. Okay, iterator magic method. Iterator magic method allows an object to be iterable. Iterable object to be iterable by returning an iterator, by returning what? Iterator object. The iterator object, the iterator object responsibility is, the iterator object is the iterator object is responsible in generating what? In generating values when next method is called. When next method is when next method is what? Called or given to given to what here? For loop. Given to for loop. Given to for loop. So even this iterator object is given to what? For loop to read next values. So here ITR method is called when ITR function is ITR function is invoked on which one? Object. Okay, and when the next method is called, okay, next method is called when next function next function is next function is called on which object? Iterator object. Or when it is given to, when iterator object when iterator object is given to which one here? For loop. When iterator object is given to for loop, then it calls internally which function? Next function. Then it calls internally which function? Next function. So there is ITR method and there is a next method. Two methods are there. One is ITR method and one more is what? Next method. Okay. Yes. Getting on not? How can you make your object as an iterable? How can you make your object as an iterable? By overriding how many methods? Two methods. How to make your object as an iterable? By overriding two methods. One is ITR method and one more is a next method. Okay, these two methods. Okay, these two methods must be override to these two methods must be override in order to in order to in order to make okay custom class as a custom class as what here? Iterable. These two methods must be override. One method is a ITR method and one more is what? Next method. One is ITR method and one more is what? Next method. Okay. Yes. How you do this? Now take the class of Take the class of which one? Student. Takes the class of student. Now what you can do? So I override iterator method. I override next method, right? Then I want to create iterator. Iterator on which one? S1. Then if I say print next of A, it return the next value 101, which is roll number. If I say again print next of A, what again it returns? Same value 101, because next is always returning which value? Roll number only. Next is always returning which value? Roll number only. To avoid this, what you can do? You can take one count. Dot count. Count start from where? Zero. Count start from zero. So you return. If self dot count, if self dot count equal to zero, then return roll number and then increment self dot count plus equal to one. Okay, return that. Or else if self dot count equal to one, you have to increment this. Okay, before. Okay, self dot count plus equal to one and return it. Okay, then else if self dot count equal to one, then what I'm saying, self dot count plus equal to one and then return self dot what I have to return name. Okay, else self dot count double equal to two, then self dot count plus equal to 1 and return self dot course. Else I should rise an error. Which error? Stop iteration. Okay, stop iteration what? Error. Which error is raised? Stop iteration is error is raised. Okay, so I created iterator object. So after creating iterator object, I'm reading roll number, saying next of A. What I said here, next of A. Then I'm reading a name by saying next of A. Then I'm reading a course. Next of what here? A. Then I said print a roll number. Okay, name and one more is what? Course. If the count is a zero, then it increment one and return roll number. Next, when you iterate it, count becomes what? One. If the count is a one, you are incrementing with the one, which is two, and return the name. Next, when you iterate, the count will become what? Two. If the count is a two, you increment it three and then return the course. When you iterate it, count is a three, this condition fail. Count is a three, this condition is fail. This count is a three, this condition is fail. Then return what? Stop iteration error. But now return how many values? Three values. But what will happen if I'm writing some x equal to next of which one? A. This rises which error? Stop iteration error. Because how many values are there in the student? Three values. Can I give this? Can I give this object to the for loop? Yes. I'm writing S2. S2 equal to student 101 and Kishore. And there is a course. Now B equal to ITER of S2. Then value in B, for value in B, so value in B, 101, Naresh, and one more is what? Python. 101, Naresh, and one more is what? Python. Okay. Suppose for loop, when you are using a for loop, you don't require to, because after reading all the values, it is generated which error? Stop iteration error. Because is it read all the values or not? Yes. Now this is how you make your object as what? This is how you make your object as this is how you make your object as what? Iterable. This is how you Okay, this is how you make Your object has what? Iterable. Is it is it clear? Yeah, all of you. Is it this is clear or not? How can you make your object as an iterable? All the objects are not iterables, right? Which objects are iterables which implement iteration protocol? And how you implement iteration protocol? How you implement iteration protocol? By overriding two methods. How you implement iteration protocol? By implementing two methods. How you implement iteration protocol? By implementing two methods. One is iterator method and one more is next method. One is iterator method, one more is what? Next method. By, by implementing these two methods, your object is eligible for what? Iteration. Your object is eligible for what? Iteration by overriding how many methods? Two methods. Okay, right? So anyway, I'll tell you some more examples and some more magic methods, but not today. Okay, we'll see tomorrow that. Okay, today we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue, right? Yes. Today we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue this. Okay, right. Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Right. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take one more example. Sorry. I'll take one more example on iteration and next. Okay. I'll take. Yesterday there is no class because I'm not feeling well. So yesterday there was no class. Okay. Yeah, link is a save for tomorrow class. Same link. Same link for tomorrow's class also. Right.